And welcome to the We Like Softball Podcast, a little twist compared to the usual We Like Sports Podcast. But I'm here, Payton Vince, alongside Adam, aka Crazy Shorts.
Hey.
Everybody knows him in the softball community, at least if you're an E-player.
Oh, yeah. Been around the block a few times.
A couple times. You've walked it, talked it, ran it, all of it.
Yes, sir.
So, obviously, we came up with a little twist, different, because Mojo is coming up. It's, a week and a half away already?
Oh, yeah. Next weekend.
And hopefully we end up getting nice weather, too. It wouldn't be fun if it's shit weather, honestly. I mean, we did that last year, 2 years ago when I first started playing ball in tournaments. Got lucky in 70-degree weather, but I guess at the end of March, you're almost expected that you have to end up playing in crappy weather at this time of year.
Oh, yeah. You get some nasty conditions every year at some point in time. Whether it's the first day, the last day, in between, foggy nights, dew on the ground in the mornings. Oh, Lord.
Well, I mean, I guess that kind of, since we did end up mentioning Mojo, obviously that's still a week away. We still have another podcast, but we want to establish ourselves first. So Crazy Shorts and I, we're going to end up giving you a little bit of a background on myself, how I got involved with softball, a couple softball memories we might have had, and just get to let a little bit of anybody that's watching this, a little bit to know about you guys, about us. And obviously, we'd love to end up expanding this more and more and have more softball players all throughout the rankings. It doesn't matter, E through D, through C, through B, through conference players. Anybody that wants involved, it'd be awesome to have a part of this, because I think this is something really fun that we can end up developing if all goes well. And I mean, look at this. We have the technology right now. I'm at my house. Crazy Shorts is at his. It's snowing outside, and we're able to still do a podcast of sorts.
Yep.
So I guess starting things off, I mean, what would be the best way to end up starting it, other than, I guess, introducing ourselves and how we ended up getting involved with softball? So I guess, I mean, are you similar to me that, like, I ended up having my stepdad when I was growing up? Softball world was a thing, and that was when that was around. And I feel like everybody had a connection to softball world of some sorts. And that's where I grew up at times on Sundays. And after I ended up becoming, I think, like 18, 19, I think I was 19 or so. It was after high school. I ended up getting a couple buddies that I went to high school with and a couple of our all mutual friends. And that's how I started playing out in Strongsville, Ohio. And fortunately, I ran my own team, and if anybody has ever ran a team before, everybody knows how much of a pain in the ass that is, especially because it's commitment, it's money, whatever it may be. There's always some type of issue. But I'm glad I'm no longer running a team anymore. But kudos to anybody that has, without a doubt. And I think that's the message that I ended up learning from running my team and being thrown into that overall, is being a responsible 20-year-old running a softball team, which sounds like cake. You end up fronting everything, a refund, a forfeit fee, whatever it may be. And it never was in that convenient aspect, I guess. And you know that too, obviously, Crazy Shorts.
Oh, yeah, man. I've been all around the block on that. Coming from, depends on if you're funded or not. If you did any fundraising, in the beginning, we did a lot out of pocket. So it was $25, every weekend, $35, depending on, how many guys you got. You divide it up, tournament costs and balls and umpire fees, so on and so forth. So there's always, people always got things going on in their life, whether they don't got the money or maybe they didn't hit the bank, and, situations happen.
Yep.
A lot of times that falls on that coach or captain or whoever it is, Don't worry, I got you back next week.
Yep.
Next week comes, I got you back next week. Next week comes, eventually you chalk it up as a loss.
Yeah, and I mean, that was honestly, I had a job that I made a decent amount of money at the time, and I wasn't really used to that. So obviously with that, I had the ability to kind of, it is what it is. But, like, I hated it, because looking back at that, the phrase that I hate the most, and I hate doing it, but I do it all the time too to whoever I'm playing with, whether it's league ball, tournaments, whatever, Cash App, Venmo, all that is so much more convenient. But I'll at least give that heads up ahead of time, because obviously going to the bank and you don't have enough cash on you and you're that manager, I didn't have cash on me like that. So I'm like, oh, I could cash app you this to get cash from this player. And it's the dumbest form of money transferring all the time that you ended up having to go through. And it was just such a pain. And if somebody's like, oh, I'll cash app you. Okay, cool. That's good for my bank account, but I don't have enough cash money.
Yeah.
And like, it's always an issue. Like, and I understand it. It's convenient. I do the same thing, but it's just frustrating from that perspective. But I mean, also, it's such a difference too when I end up mentioning the fact that I ran my own team and it was just all buddies, because ridiculously you ended up having, what did you end up having? You run your own team and you end up having anything along the line that you're playing against tournament guys on Sunday mornings. That's where we played at in Strongsville. And it's just all a bunch of normal dudes, like just friends playing, hanging out, not nearly as competitive. And being on the flip side of that at times to those 30-1 games, it's a lot different nowadays compared to the past. And I'm not mad either way, but those games taking that one run, that wasn't the greatest. That wasn't the most fun.
No. Yeah. Oh man, all sorts of dilemmas when it comes to running a team. There's so many ups and downs and pros and cons that you can go on. Especially, it depends on, if it's a work with what you got, or if you got a stacked team. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then it also depends on the sponsors and the funding and the fundraising and all that plays a huge factor into a team season. Huge factor. Opens up many, just having funds and sponsorship opens up many different windows and opportunities. Even if it's just tournaments to play in, you know what I mean? Some teams can only afford to play one tournament a month, and some are playing every single weekend. And any sanction, whatever they want, they just want to play. They don't care what the record is. They don't care what guys they got, and that's all fine and dandy, if you can afford it and you got the funds to waste like that, or just have the funds at hand available to you. That's just a nice thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's a completely different aspect too, is that when you end up playing from the basis of like tournament ball, and then you're funding with that because you're paying $325 for an entry fee, and you divide that up between whatever players too, and it's so much mathematical like background behind it, because for a league, at least you have the flat fee, you have your umpire fee that you could figure out, but like your umpire fees, depending on if it's a paper roster tournament or not, you might have to end up getting more money because you didn't expect to go on that run that day, and you're divvying it up. Okay, $3 per person. Everybody planned on playing 5 games instead of 8 or whatever it may be.
Oh yeah. And that leads to another point of mine. When a lot of times as a coach or a team, if you pay out of pocket, you almost feel obligated to have to play every single player, which, I mean, if every single person plays, then every person should get playing time in a sense. But, at where does the line draw at the competitiveness of winning? You know what I mean? That's almost where I would almost rather pay for my own team so I can call my own shots. Not necessarily my own shots, but I want to always have the best lineup for what I have. Who's available, you want that best lineup, whether it's your best gloves or your best sticks. And I feel like if you're sponsored, or if you're funded, and not, if people didn't pay out of pocket, you're not obligated to give people playing time.
Right. That makes sense. I understand where you're coming from with that. It's understandable, because obviously, like, that's with any competition whatsoever. You're going to end up having some days that your guy or your lead guy, even, he's going to have an off day. Somebody's going to have an off day. Eventually, you have to see that, though. And sometimes you fall in love. And that's in any sport, though, too, that you fall in love with that specific player. Like, look at another comparison. This is based off of a sports podcast. We Like Sportz.com, We Like SportsPC.com, We Like Sportz Podcast. Quick plug for myself on the other end too. But you look at somebody like the Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell, it's not always going to fall on him every night. It's not going to work for him every single night. And that's the same thing with softball. You have to end up figuring it out okay, he might not be the guy to go to in crunch time right now because he hasn't been hot in the last time. So maybe it's not the same. Maybe it's not the best idea.
Having options is a great deal. Having team players, committed guys that know their role is a huge part in it all. I mean, it's so hard to go in a tournament all day long playing 6 games, 10 games with just 10 or 11 guys, and especially in Ohio elements. If it's the winter and spring, it's freezing, it's cold, you know what I mean? You're bundled up. There's so much to deal with at that aspect. Your body don't work the same in the freezing, frigid temperatures. They just don't.
And especially
first couple games of the season, your body's just not conditioned for it.
Yep, exactly.
So it's just same. And then in the summer, it's sometimes it's so scorching hot, you know what I mean? You're dehydrated, you cramp up. It's nice to have options off the bench, you know what I mean? Just team players that are there that don't mind just coming in when called. Not all guys are built for it. Some guys have to start. Some guys have to be ready. Some guys have to be involved, whether it's physically or mentally. As some people are just different. But it's great to be able to have the option of you could have just those 2 to 3 guys that can ride the bench and are just team players can come in, whether it's just even just being a base runner. Oh my God, that is so huge. Huge. Yeah, to have a guy that don't mind running. Some young guy with some fresh legs will just run. Oh man, I love it.
Yeah, it's completely understandable because I mean, you see it more and more. And I mean, I see it too. And I'm 27. I would consider myself kind of young, but at the same time, though, I would love to have a runner just because I hate running. I hate cardio, but I still think that it would make sense, though. I understand why not to get me a runner because I'm hurting the team then. Because if you have somebody that's 40 something, late 30s, they might need a break. And that speed on the Bates paths compared to me having a little bit of speed, even though I'm a truck, even though I shouldn't be, it's a different story.
Right, just to eat, just like I said about the elements and the conditions, even in these cold, frigid or the super hot, you could, if it's late in the game and your heavier guys are wearing down, or just any of your guys are wearing down, you could do a sub re-entry just for a base runner alone. Not even if that. It's just nice to have the option, man. It's huge, and especially in critical situations.
And actually, we have another guest joining us too. He's a player on D Slim and Chubbies.
What up?
Hey.
What up?
What's up, man?
I'm just staying outside right now in the snow, getting ready for Mojo. Hopefully it snows, so I'm gonna be ready for it.
You're bearing the elements right now as we speak.
Yep. I'm repping the hoodie, just getting ready to go.
Do you have a Slim Chub?
No. I have a Chub Slim.
Nice.
Is that kind of like Eminem?
Right.
Man, so looking at softball, I mean, I guess we're kind of getting into just reminiscing about just softball itself, but let's get into some memories. What was your guys' first softball memory overall? Crazy Shorts, if you want to go first.
Watching Payton hit his first career home run.
And you were there for that.
My first softball memory?
Yeah.
Oh man. So I didn't get introduced into softball until a little later. I played baseball, and then after high school, that was pretty much done. That was a wrap. So after high school, until I was early 20s, we played a lot of basketball. And one day, a couple of my buddies were talking about playing softball league in Vermilion. I was really interested from being a baseball player. And we used to have very competitive street basketball games. And so one day they said they needed a guy. I showed up, and that was pretty much it. Just a couple weeks of league in Vermilion, which was by the time I guess Vermilion used to be a bigger league, and by the time I joined it didn't. It was like a six team league, but I was so new to it. There was so much to learn. It immediately grabbed my attention, and it was just like a drug. It was like a high. Immediately, I was just like, for an adult male, after high school, if you're not collegiate, there's really no competitive sports with real rules because you're playing on the streets. There's no rules in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Basketball, if you're playing on the street, there's no real ref. It's just like foul. Okay, you know, whatever. Same like if you get a pickup baseball game, you're not gonna get a full team. You know what I mean? And then you're not gonna have a real umpire. You know what I mean? So it's just like to have it at competitive level with real like officials, and it caught my attention very quick. That's a moment like I'll never forget.
Justin, what about you?
Payton's first career home run.
Legendary.
The fences were 300. He hit it 301.
And it was a liner.
Did you run the bases?
That was.
Yes, he ran the bases.
Oh, yes.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That was the first one ever. I think we were down.
He didn't even realize he was running the bases. He was so excited. He just kept going.
Classic.
That was back. Justin was one of the first people that I ended up playing softball with. That's how I kind of, I guess you could say, got introduced in a way to the tournament scene. I guess because I ended up playing league with him on Tuesday afternoons or Tuesday evenings in Strongsville with him and a couple buddies. One of them being Mike. I remember Mike. It's been a while since I've talked to him, but it's just that they needed a sub. I became a every week sub. And then from there, you just got to know people. And that's softball. And it was a lot better afterwards. After I mentioned running my own team in the past, that was miserable. I hated it. Playing and just, hey, here's $4, $5 to play. Cool, sweet, awesome.
To be honest with you, this is my first year I'm not running a team, and it feels fantastic.
Well, I wish I felt the same, boys. I got back into the coaching.
I could just show up and play ball. Feels fantastic. Like this. This past Saturday was the first. What's that?
No, go ahead.
No, this past Saturday was the first tournament that I could show up to and just worry about playing ball and not worrying about, oh, what field we got to play on, what happens with the bracket, yada yada yada, making sure entry fees are paid. Making sure guys show up. It's I had fun for the first time in a long time.
Yeah. Makes you feel good again. Makes you respect the game again.
It makes me love it again, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's also, I guess, that's still valid too with just the right group that you're playing with too. I mean, I'm seeing that again this year too. Like last year, it was all right, but it just didn't have the same vibe last year. And this year, looking at it, I feel like the group that I have, the group that I'm with, like everybody enjoys bonding together and hanging out. Like it's all a brotherhood, and it actually feels that way. And it's like, okay, if somebody's out, if somebody's down and out, it's not going to be for long. That dude's going to get picked up by another person. Like that's all what we have is everybody has each other's back. And like that was something that it wasn't seen the same way through playing 2 to 3 years. I feel like it didn't happen as often.
Yeah.
Like I said, sometimes it's just nice to take a little break away from being in command. Just being a player can mentally, you could reboot.
I think after this last Saturday, I'm going to take a break for life on being commander-in-chief of the team.
It does weigh on your mental health. I'll give that much. I could definitely say that because you're worrying, like you said, entry fees. You're worrying about the lineup. And if you have somebody else helping you out, they might not always agree with you or you might not always agree with them. And that's just more and more of a hassle if you're not doing it.
No, you're absolutely right.
Right. I went back and
did you guys both play this past weekend?
Yep.
Yeah.
We all did.
Nice.
Freeze their heads off.
It was fucking freezing.
Oh, it was fantastic. Are you kidding?
I had 7 layers on.
I had a long sleeve and this hoodie on.
That was it?
And I mean, I had a winter cap on, but yeah,
you're a burly boy though. You're big.
Hey, was that a fat joke?
Yeah.
It wasn't really.
I'm skin and bone.
Listen, I was just as cold as everybody else. I promise.
See, but you're not bitching though, like us.
I work indoor again. I'm not an outdoor worker no more. My blood ain't used to that anymore.
Right. No, it was. Did you guys have good times?
Definitely.
Like, you wait around a lot?
No, not really. I mean, it was for the bracket. I mean, it seemed like it was pretty on time. Like nobody was really running behind, and if you were, game time was like 5-10 minutes. That was it. And it seemed like everything was going. Our umpire, the first game, came from Pittsburgh, so he had to wake up at 5 in the morning, 3-hour drive. He said he went way too fast on his way there. I don't want to call him out and give out that much details. I don't even remember his name, and I think that's better off just for his sake.
I got up and left. I went down there Saturday morning. I mean, it was only an hour and 40 minutes, but
yeah, our drive was. I did too. I drove and it was 2 hours, and I think I left at 4:45 in the morning. But he had to leave from 5 o'clock. Pittsburgh's a longer than 3-hour trip.
Yeah. What time was your first game?
8 o'clock.
Oh, see, I got lucky. Ours was at 9:15.
See, that's that.
Wow.
That's
those D guys got it made.
And we got lucky too. Our first game Thursday from Mojo is at 12:45.
Oh wow, that's not. I think ours is 10:10.
Ours is 9:10, I believe.
9:10.
Yeah, that's and then I think after that, if we win, that it's 12:10 then, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, if we win at 12:45, we play at, I think it was 6:15. If we win that, we don't play until Friday at 2:15.
The last year, what did you guys? Let's talk about that, and then I'll save the rest of the Mojo talk for next week, just because a lot to talk about. But what was your guys' thoughts last year? I mean, when I was playing, we made it down to the constellation bracket, but we played a game a day. It was Thursday 1 game, Friday 1 game, Saturday 2 games, because we ended up winning the go home game on Saturday.
I smoke a lot of weed, but that's what I recollect as well.
We didn't go down to Mojo last year, but the year before, I think we played 2-2-1. But they were all spread out. I don't mind the sit around and wait, but I don't like sitting around for 7 hours.
I don't know how much I care about the Thursday start, to be honest.
I mean, they have to with that many teams with different divisions. I mean, there's how many teams are in the E this year?
140 something, I believe, or 140.
Yeah, and there's 118 D teams and like 30 something C teams, and then plus your women's brackets.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a lot of teams, even for 32 fields. What gets you is the losers bracket.
The waiting
don't
for
know
that.
where you end up at all. Like last year, it was kind of stunning, like for it being a consolation bracket, and we found out after losing at Friday afternoon that we had to come back on Saturday morning afternoon. It was a shock because everybody was like, in years past, okay, that was it. People were eliminated on Friday.
So it's a 3-game guarantee now.
Yeah, it was last year too.
Well, it's double limb with if you lose in the loser bracket, you go to consolation.
Oh, you get to play in a single elimination bracket.
Right, and then you don't get points until, depending on how you place, is how you would get the points from that.
Okay. They'll probably do the same thing this year. I mean, I don't see why not.
Well, that's what they are doing this year, what I just said. I don't remember what they did.
Okay. But, I mean, to be honest with you, I like that they do that because, I mean, a lot of teams are traveling from different states.
Yeah.
And go and play 2 games, go 0-2, and, I mean, they could be done on Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of out-of-state teams this year outside of Ohio. I see that, and I'm sure I has too.
Right. Like, I'm hoping we win our first 2, and then I can hit the casino Thursday night, and then I don't have to do nothing until 2:15 Friday.
Grab some roosters.
I'm not going to roosters. I do that every year.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
We had some this weekend.
Hashtag not a sponsor. No, there's a little German pub. The Wiener Schnitzel, not as good as you think.
What did we get? No, we went to Wings and Rings. Have you ever been there?
Actually, I think a bunch of the boys went there Saturday night after our game because a lot of them stayed down there. I said, screw it. I drove back home.
It wasn't a big joint, but it was all right. It was cool. Nice little spot.
Yeah, and I think the Weekender last year we went to Roosters. That little corner that's the little corner bar, right?
Yep, the one closest by the fields, and then there's Grove City.
Yes. We went to the ones closer to the field.
Shout out to Roosters.
Roosters, not a sponsor, but shout out.
Yep, shout out.
I'm
We'll
pumped
take
for
that
Mojo
good,
this
man.
year.
Oh yeah, we're fired up.
It's
I'm
just
fired up.
good weather. I'm excited either way, but I'm hoping for good weather. That's all I
To be
want.
honest, I think they were saying it's supposed to be nice. I mean, at least high 50s.
On Thursday, at least.
The last
Yeah.
forecast I saw was rain Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but that's a 10-day outlook or 14-day outlook.
Yeah,
Still, time
Would
to
not
go.
be
Come on, man.
Mojo without rain.
I want
Just
you to
one.
remember something, Peyton. Meteorologists are paid to be wrong.
Yeah, you're not. Everybody has sports analysts are too. You could guess on that. Look at the report about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, look at Peyton.
Look at his hairline. It's not there.
Right, it's gone.
Well, changing gears though, not talking too much about Mojo, but talking about, I guess, the beginnings of softball. Justin, I know Crazy Shorts ended up answering it for the most part, but why did you end up playing softball? Why did you start?
To be honest, so it all started back in high school. We did me and a bunch of my kids that I went to school with, we played in a co-ed through Parma at State Road. Played one season. Was pretty good at it. So I said, let's go play somewhere else. And I actually got picked up by a co-ed team out of Strongsville on Friday nights. And then I started playing with my God. And then started playing with other dudes on Tuesday nights, men's, and I just picked it up from there and just kept playing. And then I started playing tourney ball maybe 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, I think you and I started around the same time. You might have started before me because I missed COVID. I was the year after COVID, but like 20.
Oh, I was before COVID.
Okay, so
Yeah.
slightly though, like 2019 probably.
Yes, I think that was the first year I played tourney ball.
Crazy Shorts. When did you start playing? What year? I know it's way longer than us.
I would say about 13 years ago now. About 2010, I guess. Around.
15.
That's tourney ball?
Yeah, for tourney ball.
Oh, no, tourney ball, I didn't even find. Oh, my God, let's get on that. See, back in my day, it was Craigslist. Is how you would find out about
Tournaments?
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
Yep, no joke. Even league. That's how we found out about Victory. VSP.
Is Craigslist?
Yep. Brian Furr. Ask him about it one day. He'll tell you all about it.
Fur baby?
That's actually pretty cool.
Yep.
Man, that's an episode to talk about for sure. It's just Craigslist tournaments.
Oh my Lord. And then could you imagine, this is before Facebook and all that, and so you would make your username and you can't tell who it is. You know what I'm saying? Like on Facebook and MySpace, you would have your profile. Well, on that, you couldn't tell who this person is. So people are making up fake names and all this and oh my God, there was like chat rooms and people are getting roasted and oh Lord.
Talk.
Yeah, back there was, oh my God.
Peyton, can you imagine?
There used to be crazy softball like chat rooms.
Oh, I know, dude. This is the weirdest parallel too, because I was involved with professional wrestling. I was a ring announcer, so there used to be something called the indie wrestler like message board or like the discussion boards, and it was the same thing. Was that like so many other people were trashing other people because the fact that it happened in softball? It's a
trolling before trolling was a thing, man. Oh my God.
Man.
Peyton, can you imagine trying to find a softball league on Craigslist? I mean, you would probably be pretty good at it.
Oh, I mean,
that's where
he would for sure.
I mean, you're good with Craigslist. Isn't that where you find your girlfriends?
No. Oh, no. That's harsh. I just kick you out of the stream right now because you're.
I mean, that's fine too. I gotta go get my pump on.
Well, go to the gym because you have to go hit another home run.
Oh,
you're a
dude.
team player and you're not limited to one.
That's a weird way of jerking off. Pumping.
I had a nice little freebie granny on Saturday.
Ew.
Dude, the balls were just flying on Saturday.
Yeah, they were hard. Flying.
And I was listening a little bit before you let me in here. It said I was backstage, but I could still hear everything. Payton, you got to learn how to pitch because then you get a runner no matter what.
Yeah, but I also
Yeah.
I'd be so scared as a pitcher. I'd never want to pitch because even with wearing gear, I pitched one time and it was in a church league game in Medina, I think. And my goal was to not walk anybody, and thankfully I didn't. That's my bragging rights. But
Wait a minute, I have a question. Are you able to show a video on here?
I don't know.
Here, I'm gonna send you one. See if you can play this.
Is it your walk off?
No.
It is. Walk off.
No, it's not.
It better not be.
It's actually me pitching. I just sent it to you.
Oh, John Sweeney ended up mentioning the first tournament he was a part of was the Crazy Shorts diaper party. Ask you about it, Crazy Shorts.
Oh my Lord, that was a great time. Oh man, I threw. It was for my youngest son, Isaiah. We when life was still pregnant before he was born, we had threw a diaper party tournament, and I did a draft style. And what I did was I didn't charge anybody money. I just told them they had to bring
diapers.
Yeah, diapers, wipes, toys, anything that was baby related. It didn't matter. And
that's a great idea.
Oh man, the turnout was insane. Unbelievable. I mean, now I do a lot for the community, you know. I mean, I would get in people's raffles, I would go to people's fundraising things, you know, whether it's at a bar or whatever it is. So maybe since I do a lot, people give back. I don't know, but maybe they just wanted to play softball that day. Maybe that's the odds too. That could have been. But the outcome was like I had like 3 truckloads of things for this diaper party tournament. It was such a great, and it was just an amazing turnout. We had bottles, we were drinking, and every single person had a good time. It was just one of the best. I guess that's one of my greatest memories too then.
Dude, if we're talking about greatest memories, though, like that one's awesome. I wish I was around with that, too, just because I wasn't playing until late. I wasn't playing until 23, 24 when I started meeting most of all my friends that are all tournament guys now that I met through that. But it was the Halloween tournament of COVID of 2020. That was the first time I was playing, and I met so many people. That's when I met Austin for the first time, and he was for the second time, I think. But this was the time when he was wearing the blow up.
Yeah, yeah, the big old penis.
Yep. I took several pictures with him too because I wanted to end up having an established Johnson.
Man. And I remember he dove too, and ended up landing because he got a hit or something too, and he's going to second base. He does a full out like Superman dive, and when he dives, he lands on the pump. It goes into like his stomach or his back. He's screaming about it. It left a nasty bruise. I remember. Oh Lord.
That sounds fun.
Good times.
I might have to think about doing that. Doing a diaper party tournament.
Are you due?
No. But soon enough.
That's
sooner than later. It all depends on if she lets me, you know.
Oh, all right. I'm thinking about stopping. You're thinking about having more. Jeez. How old are you?
He's thinking about
29.
Oh, I mean, yeah, get it over with then. Hurry up. You're really getting older, bud.
Hurry up.
It gets no easier. You still got a little bit of youth and energy. You better do it now.
You get it over with.
Right now, right after the podcast, man. Just go in there and
after the gym.
He said he was going to go pump it out. Now it all makes sense. It's all coming together. It's all coming together.
Well, the first part of that, not together. Well, we still have 20-some minutes to go, roughly. I know we ended up talking about this Crazy Shorts, but something I ended up discussing was before every game, you end up taking the coin flip, and there's so many different possibilities for any way that you end up doing it. I mean, you've been a manager, you've said that, you've been around that way. Do you end up? Let me ask you this, because I've been a player aspect, and I never ended up calling the flip before. I think even when I ran that league team, just because I was always scattering, doing a lineup, doing this. So I'm like, somebody go run, do it. I don't give a shit who it is. But I've seen managers that end up asking whatever. They end up having a random player go out and call it, and sometimes it's the luckiest person that always gets it too. It varies.
Yeah. Age and genre doesn't. I guess it's not a factor in coin flips. I guess the coin just wants. It's like a destiny thing. It's just either going to happen or it's not. There's no real odds. I guess it's 50-50 either way. I guess, but sometimes for me, I feel like it's more like 10-90 for me getting that. If I call tails, it's usually heads, and vice versa. I hate the flip, because I feel like, I guess if the umpire gives me tails and them heads, and he flips it and it's tails, I just like to run it back, keep it tails. I feel like that's how the coin works. Maybe it's weighted. Superstitions on the coin flip, but yeah, usually though,
tails never fail.
We usually don't win. It's no matter if I call it, it's usually opposite.
Tails never fails.
That's what William Noble's even saying too. Shout out to him. He's saying tails on the ground wins every time. And I mean,
on the ground. Okay, yeah. I see what he did there.
But I mean, that's the toughest part too, because I feel like that past weekend too, as we were talking about that March Madness tournament, I think we lost every toss. We were sticking first every single time, but by the time we ended up getting to that last game, you were just kind of expecting it. The second game, you were kind of expecting, okay, we already lost the first one, so if we lose the second one, well, get used to it. Like, but that definitely, I wouldn't say that has a part of the game. It just makes it interesting because obviously you want to be the home team 9 times out of 10.
Sometimes you're hitting.
It's the coin flip. All right, don't turn this into a Chiefs Bills thing. All right.
What about Chiefs Bills?
The coin
What's
flip.
Your preference, What's your preference on the coin? You want head, want tail? Or would you have another team pick? Would you rather the other team pick it, or you just either?
To be honest with you, I'd rather lose it because at least I tried. So we played 6 games Saturday, and we won the coin toss twice. We were the away team 4 out of the 6.
Okay.
And the one, they lost it. They called it and lost. And then the second one, I called it and won
it. Yeah, well, we won the first 2, and then we lost the last 2. Or they had won, how I say. We won the toss, and then I picked it. It was tails. I went tails both times. It worked. And the second time, they won it both times like that. So we didn't have the option to pick. They just, of course, took home. Probably because of our lack of hitting.
Yeah.
What did you score last game? 9? Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to make them hit first for sure.
I also walked up to the coin flip and told them we were away and walked away, and it mind fucks them to death.
That's amazing.
Wait, what happened?
No, William Noble said I also walked up to the coin flip and told them we were away and walked away, and it mind fucks them to death. Well, no, that's what I read. I read that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's funny.
I mean,
all right, boys. Well, I'm going to go get a nice little pump.
And then another pump?
Yeah, maybe. Like I said.
Yeah. There'll be a 2 pump.
Let me know when you want to practice your pitching.
Sounds good. I got videos. I have 2 of them sent to me. It's just they weren't able to be posted because apparently we don't want to show it.
Listen, it was a comebacker. I kid you not, I puckered a little bit.
Which that end, right?
But I still caught it.
But what?
I caught it.
Gotcha.
I got the out.
Did you pitch this past weekend then?
Yeah, I pitched 4 out of the 6.
Oh, okay. See, you get the runner. That's where you're coming from.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Just learn to be a pitcher, and someone will run for you every time.
But
it doesn't affect the team.
But you're puckering every time, and I don't like that. Like I don't like that idea.
No, just when it's hit back at you.
Yeah, which that's gonna happen.
Don't pitch it outside to a pull hitter.
I don't pitch.
Well, that's what I'm going to teach you.
All right, thanks, Justin.
You're welcome. Listen, just because I'm teaching it doesn't mean you're going to be good, all right? I'm mediocre. I'm working on some things.
No, you're working with the pump fakes. That's why.
No, I don't really pump fake. I'm trying to get I got the backspin to come across the plate. I just need to work on the front spin to go across the other way. That's what I'm working on. Knuckleball is just nasty. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but
yeah, but toot, right?
Yeah, toot.
The Eupheus is unhittable.
But all right, boys. I'll catch you later, and I'll see you Monday when we talk some more Mojo.
Sounds good. Or Tuesday. I think it might be Tuesday next week because today's Tuesday.
Honestly, I think either way works for me.
Okay, that's perfect. See you later, bro.
All right, see you guys.
Later.
Look at that. Surprise guest appearance. We got 15 minutes left. Let's open the floor. If anybody wants to comment, join in, just let me know in the comments and I'll send you the DM. I'll send you the link. You'll be welcome to be part of it. We're just shooting the shit about softball. I mean, we found out a lot about today. We found out about the diaper party, the fundraiser tournament diaper party. We found out about Justin being on Slim and Chubby's now and him hitting a walk-off tank. That's nice. And I mean, that's a new environment, formerly known as Stampede last year in E and no longer a thing, but I think most of those guys are playing Slim and Chubby's now. And it's nice to see always knowing friends too like that. That's always nice. And I mean, this is all this podcast is going to be about, is just friends hopping on and shooting the shit about softball. I mean, I can't believe it's already a week away from Mojo though.
I know. I feel like we waited 10 years for this. I feel like a kid waiting on Christmas.
The weather took forever. I mean, last weekend still sucked. And it felt like it was just weeks and weeks and weeks away. I remember looking at the calendar in January and going, okay, that's the end of March. And now I'm looking at the calendar and I'm going, oh, that's literally in a week. I'm already, I think, Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, whatever. And it's going to be softball time. We're going to end up playing at 9 a.m. Rain, shine, cold, sleet, rain. I hope it's decent weather. I know it's Ohio, and I know I'm going to get shit on. I know it. But, like, let me ask you this question then. Because last year, I always end up trying, no matter what, with the guys that I end up knowing in softball, I try to be at least a supportive friend and end up catching, bouncing around, watching some games. Last year, I ended up watching that with the cold, miserable, crappy weather. Would you do the same thing this year? Because now with it, if it's cold again, I already went through it one year and I realized how cold it was and how miserable and how I had a blanket and I tried my best to stick it out and be a man about it. But, like, I don't know if I'm going to be that great of a friend this year, in all honesty.
Depends. I will call it situational. Depends on the weather. Depends on what game is it. You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah,
if
I
it's
get that.
first game, maybe not. But maybe if it's like an elimination game, depends on what day it is. If you were drinking or not, also depends. That's a real factor right there.
Yeah.
Usually you got a couple drinks in you. You'll just stand there. Don't care what the weather is. You're there having a good time,
And it happens all too often too, because you just stand there and you're like, you want to go in the car for a little bit and warm up, and that's all it is. Like, there's softball's such a weird thing too, and that's, I guess, going from what we were talking about earlier on. It's just an odd thing because, like, you fall in love with it so much that you also, even if you don't have a friend, you're making a new friend because you're watching them play on your buddy's team or another buddy's team, and you're watching softball. You're watching something you enjoy no matter what, but you're also watching your friends play too, and you hope that they do good.
Usually. Depends on
to win against you.
Right. No, like I said, I try to make it to all my friends' games usually. I try to. I mean, a lot of times our schedules collide. Usually the bracket times always seem to collide. We play on field 8 at 10:10, and then the game's running late, but then someone's playing on field 27 at 11:10. You don't have, by the time you get there, it's already like the 7th inning in their game because their game was on time, but yours was running a little behind.
Yep.
It's just silliness like that. But if I try to make
factors.
You have to make sure you eat in between games too, which is a problem. You know, we tend to forget sometimes. I get caught up talking to a friend. I'll see one friend, talk to the next one. Next thing I know, I'm just pinballing off from friend to friend to friend.
Yep.
Next thing I know, my next game's up. I'm like, wow, I didn't even get nothing to drink or eat. You know, I got to play another game. You know.
Yep, I've been there. I mean, that's why always the last weekend when it was March Madness, I got lucky. My girlfriend that I have, she ended up packing me snacks. So I at least had snacks in between games. I had some chocolate covered pretzels. I had some roll up, bologna, ham, cheese, whatever thrown into it with a tortilla. I had some apples, some carrots, some cheese. I had all the good snacks. So I still was able to, whenever everybody else was getting food, I'm like, I don't need that. I can save some money right now because life's tough.
Yeah. But sometimes you're balling on a budget, balling on a budget, legitly. Balling on a budget.
You're not lying at all. I mean, how long has it been for you? Because you've been around tournament ball, you said not as long as 2013 or so, but how long have you been going to Berliner? Also, shout out to Joe. He's still mad about that I didn't share my sandwich. And you have Zeus. Zeus was standing right over him too. And Joe was bitching about it. And Zeus looks and he goes, yeah, that sandwich was a triple decker. He knew the sandwich type. He was watching it. Silent assassin type. I'm not talking about the sandwich, but I wanted your sandwich.
Man, how many Mojos have I been to? I don't know. I've been to
or even lot. Being at Berliner too. So I mean, even if it wasn't Mojo and it was just something in the fall, even just because
Mojo is what that was my first Berliner experience, and it was probably 2014, 2015, maybe. It was the 8th, or it was 8 years ago, I would say. So it was it was the 3rd, actually, I want to say. Yeah, so that makes sense. If this is the 11th, it was the 3rd. I think I might still even have the shirt.
So if it's been, so what, you're saying 2014 or so then?
No, it would be 2015. It was my first Berlin experience, I would say.
So my first one was 2021. Had a couple adult beverages, and I got lost at Berliner. There's 35 some fields, 32 some fields. That's so confusing, and also having a friend group that ended up moving from field to field to field, and I'm going to call them out about it too, just because that was the way it was. I knew I wasn't in the best shape, but I also know that I was confused because you have a park. They're we're at the park. We're by the playground, whatever. There's 4 different sets of playgrounds over there too in Berliner. It just didn't help me, and I just gave up after a while because that was my first experience too. It was literally 2 days within. I think that was that Saturday of Mojo, and we were already knocked out at the time. And we were just hanging out, but I was lost. I couldn't do anything about it. And it was, I think, 2 hours or an hour and a half of being lost. And I'm also doing, like you said, bouncing off from game to game to game to game because I'm lost. Nobody's texting me back. Nobody's answering me. I just give up. I'm just going to end up watching over here. I think I eventually just sat on the ground and just said, they're going to find me this way.
As many times as I've been there, there's still certain fields I just cannot find. I'll be driving around. Where the hell's field 13? You know what I mean? There's 11, there's 12, but where's 13? You know what I mean? It's off, I'm how does that even work out? But whatever. And the 13 might not even be I was just blurting a random number there. But there's 2 certain fields. I can't remember which one's offhand, but every time I'm I drive around 5 times. Where is this damn field at? We're all looking around, half baked. That don't help.
But I mean, I ended up doing that so many times that just trying to find the field. I've gotten better at it. It's been 2-3 years later now, and I've learned to a point, but I'm still confused like you. You don't know. I know they're in sets of 4, so I understand that much, but also I want to end up parking in a decent spot too that I'm not going to get hit by a foul ball. It doesn't happen too often, but when it happens, I don't want to deal with that. Like, that's just an extra hassle then. And
Right.
it's going to happen. It's happened to people I've known before. Like, that, it's a thing. It sucks. But you don't want to park there if you could avoid it. But there's some fields that you can't. Like, you are stuck in between two fields, and you hope that the spot you're parked in, the field you're at, that you're not stuck in a shitty parking spot at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's definitely some rush hours out there, I would call it. It's tough to get around a lot of times, but we make it work, don't we? Park with caution.
so much caution. Somebody almost hit me on the way in on Saturday. They ended up cutting in front from like the credit to cash over to the cash section, and they almost swiped me. And the guy that was working at Burliner for the parking, it made me laugh because it was just kind of like a ridiculous question. And they were like, "Oh, they almost got you," and it's like, "Yeah, he almost got me." Like, yeah, I almost got hit by a car, and it's not even 7:00 in the morning because I'm getting there an hour before game time. That's not the way I want to start my day. It's not even 6:50 yet.
You just want to get back in the car and turn around sometimes.
Yeah.
This is how the weekend's going to be. I don't want no part of it.
Something ridiculous. And I at least found the field in a timely fashion. Otherwise, I would have been even more irritated if I missed it and ended up having to find the field that way. But I got lucky in one of the two perspectives. But I mean, man, if I would have been hit, that was enough to get me irritated by the time the first game didn't even happen yet. But I got over it. Well, as we end up winding out of time here, and obviously we're going to end up coming back next week as well. We're going to end up previewing Mojo. We got a couple E-players, me, Payton, you got Crazy Shorts, Adam. We're going to probably end up having guests pop in from time to time too. I'm okay with that. If people want in, just let me know. I'll send you the link and just bounce in, shoot the shit. We're only going to be around for an hour, but this is also going to be on all podcast platforms. You got Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher. That's probably going to be out Thursday morning. I'd say 8 a.m. You also got people that have been watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Shout out to you guys. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, Twitter, give us a follow. And obviously, this is going to be something new for Ohio softball. I'm excited for it. We got Mojo coming up. Got plenty to talk about. We kind of hit on the coin flip. I think we could go even further with that, but Justin just wants to end up. He doesn't want to deal with tails or heads. He wants to end up just going with the basics and moving on and go on to his workout. But
sometimes I wish we could just replace the coin flip with the good old-fashioned rock, paper, scissors, you know?
Dude, that would be fun. What would you go for? Rock, paper, or scissors?
Ooh, depends on the person. Depends on the person.
Man.
I like to flip out scissors, but then, I don't know. I feel like big dudes want to go with rock, so you want to hit them with the paper.
But what if they surprise you and they end up going with the scissors instead of the rock, though?
Oh, man. See?
And what if the rock is doing rock, paper, scissors?
Then you always go with dynamite.
Dynamite?
Wasn't that like the trump card back in the day? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I think so. It was, yeah. Whatever. Man, that was it. That was dynamite. I was trying to think of
dynamite, right?
Dynamite, and it was always the guy that I ended up pulling that out. And it's like, bro, that's untouchable. You can't use that all the time. Come up with something different. That's like heads or tails. In the middle, let it land on its side, and hopefully it falls one way or the other. But I'm not sure which way. If it sticks, that's what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't understand what I'm saying.
What is it?
Well, I guess it depends on which way the wind blows that day.
Yeah.
Tails? Tails never fails, right?
I'm just going to let them pick. Hey, what do you want?
You pick what you want to do, and I'll end up deciding if I want to hit or if I want to be the home team.
I'm about sick of two flips, too. You know what I mean? Should just be, if I'm heads and he's tails, that's what it is.
Yeah, and just
okay, I'll pick again. It's like, okay, now it's like I already won it once, now I gotta win it again. Come on. What are you doing to me,
That's
This past weekend, the one guy had two separate coins. I was like, wow, look at you.
Did he end up crossing them over and flipping them at the same time? Or was
No,
one
just went your head, your tail, flipped it. Said, okay, you pick, and then went with the other one. Said, this is tail. Oh, wow. It's a whole different coin.
Do you think they end up having a coin out there that says Mojo on one side and the other side that just says like Columbus or Berliner or like the state of Ohio? You think we're going to see that next weekend?
I mean, possible. I know that they had a One Nation coin at one point. I don't remember what it looked like.
They're bringing it back.
Probably same one.
Also, we have to end up talking into like a DraftKings sportsbook or FanDuel sportsbook and end up getting softball. Get a couple parlays out there. I know you're a betting guy.
Whew. Yeah, I like to dabble with the devil.
Get some odds in there. Get some same game parlays.
How many dongs someone's gonna hit? Big Ben on over 3 dongs plus 3 dongs.
Plus 3 dongs.
Yeah.
20 plus runs, 20 combined runs. The over 30.
Jason Markland under 3 walks.
Man, that's money right there. We need to end up collecting money down at Mojo, seeing what kind of bets we could get. And
you would be surprised at what you're going. Don't be careful what you sign up for, man. People are just going to come up to you, handing you money, start shouting out names. You're going to pull out a little black book. Oh, God.
Who's this for? Which one?
What time do they play? I don't even look at the bracket yet.
Are they updating on the website, or is that on my website? I have to.
Right.
Are they playing today or tomorrow or Saturday?
Who's keeping their book?
Is somebody keeping their book? What's the umpire? Are the cameras working at Berliner? Is Live Barn working? Do you have Live Barn? Can I borrow your Live Barn?
Not working on that field. Typical.
Right. Why is your phone screen the wrong way? Why is your phone backwards? Stream your game. Man, I think that's the last thing to end up hitting on too. I want to end up hitting on that, but I think it's the coolest thing ever that we have the technology now that to live stream games, no matter if they're in Columbus, out of state, out of the country, even you have the ability to end up going on Facebook Live, posting it anywhere, and it's shared for everybody to see. You're seeing every game. You're getting to see all your friends, even though you might not be there in person. You're still able to support from afar, and I think that's cool because, like you said, you ended up having Craigslist to end up signing up for tournaments. We have the technology now that you could be wherever. You could be out of the country. You could be out of state. You could be out of the world. Obviously, it wouldn't end up being that way, but you could end up doing anything, and you could end up catching that guy's game, that girl's game, for whatever it may be.
Yeah, watch it on your phone, watch it on your tablet, watch it on your laptop, watch it on your TV. It's insane.
Watch it on TV, watch it at work, watch it while you're not at work.
Just even the whole Live Barn system, just to be able to watch it. Like, I mean, it to me, it's like it's like watching it on TV. Sometimes I can almost feel like I'm there. If the volume's loud enough, you can hear, the conversations going on. You know what I mean? It's also pretty awesome.
I want to end up giving a little insider information too, just because I've been doing it enough times. But oh, look at Hunter. He said, "Man, I don't know how many times I've dropped into somebody's stream just to watch some softball. It happens. I've been there. We've all been there. I mean, you end up watching it. You don't even look at all these big tournament games too. You end up just popping in, scrolling, and you're like, oh, hey, this guy's playing. All right, cool. Do I know him? No, but he's really good and can hit the shit out of the ball. Maybe I could learn something here. There's so many things that you could end up learning just with these live streams. But with the live streams, I think
even if it's your friends to watch them win, or if it's like your opponents or enemies or whatever you want to call them, even if you just want to watch them lose, you know what I mean? Yeah. Regardless, they're tuning in, they're watching, you know what I mean? It's softball, everybody's got that addiction. You just want to watch it, play it, live it.
And it's only like an hour long too, so you could always pop in, like, especially when it's like the out of the state 9 a.m. games or whatever, and it's 9 a.m. locally or 10 a.m. locally, depending on whatever the time change is. You just end up watching it and you're like, oh, hey, it's already 10 o'clock. I watched a game of softball, and now I could do whatever else in my day, but I got to see some softball. I got to see XYZ hit this good hit. I got to see my one buddy hit this way, and it turns out that they won or lost by 4 runs. Cool.
But yeah, especially if it's in your own division. I like to keep track of like what's going on and what teams are doing what players on teams are doing what. It helps you sometimes when you play them. It could benefit you.
Yeah, it's almost like you're doing a scouting report just from afar.
Exactly. Yep.
But I think the coolest thing is, though, about the live streams, and I've been guilty of this plenty of times, but I enjoy it too, just because I enjoy doing a podcast. I enjoy talking. I do have a radio background. For anybody that doesn't know me, I end up working at a radio station in Sandusky, and I mean, you end up having fun with it. I end up hopping in and doing commentary on these guys' games that are live streams and just having fun and joking around. And you end up getting like that authentic feel. And it's just fun. Like, you enjoy yourself. You bring a buddy over and you're like, hey, let's just commentate this game really quick and have some fun. And listening back to it, if you could find it, that's the funniest part of the feed, is when you end up hearing somebody doing commentary, because you always hear the chatter in the background. Why not hear commentary? Hear something for fun.
Yeah, a good commentator can make a game so much better, especially if it's like a non-scoring game. Oh, man. Especially if it's like a good roaster, a good troller. It's just funny for the comedic level at that point. And you're getting to still watch softball, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Softball, you know? But hey, sometimes there's games where dudes are just hitting straight piss missiles, just all gas. And the commentators are on point there too. Makes it much better. Much better. I like watching live streams that there's some of the apps now that have, you can keep the score, put the scoreboard on it, what teams are playing, what inning it is, the pitch count. Some of the apps are that. It depends how much you buy into it, but I really enjoy seeing like a professional look on it. I dabble with it a little bit, but you have to update it a lot. And it's like, if you're in the middle of a game, you don't have time to update the app.
Right, exactly. Like, because that scoreboard look, Justin ended up hopping on earlier on, and he used whatever app before with that too, but he was doing book and also updating the scorebook, and somebody else would be pitching. And it's like, dude, you have to end up sacrificing a lot if you want to end up updating whatever fans, family, whatever, because you're also by this phone that's plugged in and you're updating 6-5, top one, whatever it may be.
Yep.
But that's also, you're taking book too, so
yeah,
you're multitasking and wearing 13 different hats.
Yep.
But regardless,
you almost need a person just for that.
Yeah, you have to end up having somebody to do book and almost do your camera angles or your stream almost for that, especially if you end up doing the scoreboard route.
Yep.
But I think it's time we'll end up wrapping things up. This was the We Like Softball podcast, a part of the We Like Sportz podcast. And make sure to check out the website, WeLikeSportsPC.com. We'll end up coming back next week talking about Mojo. Plenty of great things to talk about, obviously. And I think this was a good time to end up having Crazy Shorts and I, and anybody else who wants to hop on in the future. We're talking Mojo next week. Talk about Mojo memories even. Keep that in mind. And Crazy Shorts, if you want to plug your social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, any of that, feel free to.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything would be Crazy Shorts, Crazy Shorts 420, Crazy Shorts 420 on TikTok, all that good stuff. Got a couple silly videos of, you know, I'm a dance demon out there. Like to dance around on that mound. No mask. I'm in the East, so I can get away with it. Some of you boys are big, but come find out. Get snapped. Now I'm going to dance on you.
You ended up moonwalking off somebody, too.
We lost, but I'm going to get my dances in.
Hey, it's all about...
Are you not entertained?
Well, Crazy Short, shout out to you. We'll end up being back here next week, talking some softball. And again, if you want to listen to the podcast portion of this, Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, it'll be out Thursday morning at 8 a.m. And we'll catch you then. See you guys later, Ohio softball world and softball world in general. Thanks for tuning in.